Indeed, the operation is on, as have been ordered by the government, with the police in the lead and the Kenyan Defence Forces in support, in line with the Article 2413C, which clearly says that in such situations, KDF may come in to support the national security forces. Indeed, again, the fact that this is an internal issue, which is a strong point for us, is very much internal, and therefore being internal, it's just fair that the lead be done by the National Police Service. They have deployed quite well. We have seen the forces on ground very well armed to try and bring order in this area. We have seen a lot of equipment has been used, put into the area, and we have seen the request by the government asking that the local people vacate those valleys which I believe to be dangerous. I want to believe that so far there has been a lot of order, a lot of control, both from the population and the government. We have had small incidents in Baringo, Samburu, Sanod, but I'll say very isolated. The key major attacks have been controlled, and therefore the key thing now is to move in and pacify the area. After this is done as required, then try and find a long-term solution to address this problem in the future. I'll stop there for now for Leila.
Augustine, in your understanding of the physical placement of this region, paint for Kenyans a picture of the areas where CS Kindiki Kithure has said civilian populations should leave to enable the security agencies deal with the bandits in that region.
Yeah, thank you very much. I want to begin with roping in a few more comments on what my colleague has indicated before I come to that. Mm-hmm. According to my understanding and having followed the dynamics and the situation on the ground, yes, indeed, we have a stepped up presence of security forces in this region. Mm-hmm. But this has not necessarily translated into the kind of adequate security and protection that the people really desire. Mm-hmm. You have just read stories on, communities in some of these areas feeling very frustrated and complaining that we have security forces on ground, but not so much has changed because incidences have continued to be reported. The area still remains volatile, and some analysts will want to say there are security forces on ground, but results are not really coming out. So it's more of a question of virtual security, where you have physical presence but no protection. However, it is expected because of the nature and how long this problem of banditry has taken to evolve in this region. Some time back, we discussed about how chronic the problem is. And it is not to say that with the kind of presence we've seen in terms of security forces, the problem will be addressed once and for all and immediately. It requires a bit more time. So we appreciate the kind of deployment we've seen in the region. We appreciate that we have moved from phase 1. Now we are going into phase 2 of operation. We appreciate that government is aware of the kind of balance needed. The balance of ensuring that public safety is guaranteed while banditry is being addressed. This phase really, the second phase really means more security hardware, mm-hmm. and clearly defined operational targets. You've heard the CS talk of, gorges, valleys, basically areas that operational teams on ground will consider to be safe havens for bandits. And the law requires that this happens because you do not want to predispose innocent and law-abiding Kenyans and have them caught up in operations and offensive between security forces and bandits. But the fact that vacation orders were issued meant that bandits also have time to be able to leave these areas. I've had local communities say that we are also seeing bandits move out from these areas, and they are moving closer to us, which then means they are trying to, sublime into the civilian population. And this poses a great challenge to security forces, because how do you separate armed persons in the name of bandits from civilian persons? And what the deployment has achieved, according to me, is displacing the bandits from these areas, and therefore it's a form of an outcome of this operation. Because in the long run, what we want is this area to be free of violence, and that once bandits have been displaced, then security forces come in and occupy that space. The confidence for communities to come back in these areas will improve. I think government is on the right trajectory, and the government must consider to be in this region for quite some time.